Principal Jones, Miss Ooton, Miss Atkins, parents, and members, welcome to the 2013 National Honor Society Induction Ceremony. We are gathered here to formally recognize those students who have been selected by the faculty of our school for successfully completing their candidacy and are being inducted as new members for our National Honor Society chapter. For current members and those former members who may be among our guests this evening, we hope this will serve to remind you of the standards of excellence you too are charged with maintaining as members of the nation's oldest, largest, and most prestigious student recognition program. Our chapter is proud to have been inducting members since 1975, and with today's ceremony indicates the continuing emphasis on excellence that we represent for our school and our community. Throughout the year, members of our chapter serve as role models for other students. In addition to the strong academic records which establish our eligibility for membership, our chapter members are leaders in many student organizations, and we serve our school and community through many activities including tutoring, adopt a family during the Christmas season, aiding North Milton charities by donating rice, beans, cereal, and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and donating clothes to girl orphanages. We are proud of this record of accomplishment and welcome these new members who bring new energy in support of our continuing work as National Honor Society members. It is at this time that we proclaim to all in attendance that membership in the Milton High School chapter of the National Honor Society has been earned by these candidates through the effective demonstration of 4 qualities that serve as standards for our National Honor Society. Members of this chapter will now review these 4 qualities. And we will begin with the quality of scholarship. Scholarship denotes a commitment to learning. A student is willing to spend hours in reading and studying, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for human education only ends with the end of life. Knowledge is one great element in life which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we lead the past, the torch guiding us to understand the present, and the light that illuminates the future. Candidates have the charge to continually expand their world through the opportunities inherent in scholarship. As Dr. Seuss said, the more you read, the more things you'll know, the more things you learn, the more places you'll go. And now please welcome Vice President Christana Wagner as she introduces the second quality of leadership.
Good evening. Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking initiative in the classroom and the school activities, the real leader strives to train and aid others to reach the common goals of success. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interest for the interests of others. A leader has self-confidence and will go forward when others hesitate. No matter what power and resources may exist in a school, community, or nation, they are ineffective without wise leadership. Leadership has always been needed. Thus, to lead is a meaningful and substantive charge to each of our members. John Quincy Adams said, "If your actions inspire others to do more, learn more, dream more, and become more, you are a leader." Now please welcome Secretary Lindsey Laubenstein as she introduces the third quality of service.
My office is service. Service can be established in the routine of the day's work
where many opportunities arise to help others both at school and in the community. A willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or public recognition is a quality we seek in our membership and promote for the entire student body. We are committed to volunteering our time and talents to the creation of a better tomorrow. Gandhi once said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Now please welcome Treasurer Sarah Wobrack as she introduces the fourth quality of character.
Character is the force within the individual that distinguishes each person from others. It creates for each of us our individuality, our goodness. It is that without which no one can respect oneself, nor hope to attain the respect of others. It is the force of character that guides on through life and once developed, grows steadily within. Character is achieved and not received. It is the product of constant thought and action, the daily striving to make the right decision. The problem of character is the problem of self-control. We must be in reality with how we wish to appear to others, to be rather than to seem. By demonstrating such qualities such as respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and citizenship, we may hope to prove by example that we value character. According to Ralph Waldo Emerson, what lies behind us and what lies before us are but tiny matters in comparison to what lies within us.
The four qualities just presented, scholarship, leadership, service, and characters, are qualities essential to every National Honor Society chapter, and qualities our previous, current, and new members embody. And now, please welcome our Principal Cliff Jones to the stage, who will offer congratulatory remarks to the new members.
Parents, students, and special guests, tonight we honor a select group of students for their achievements as scholars and as leaders. Students, you have worked hard. It's not by luck that you're sitting where you are now. Before I introduce our distinguished speaker, I'd like to issue two challenges to you as you are inducted tonight. The first is to be humble. Be proud of all you've done, but take time to recognize and thank all those who support you, your parents, your family, and your friends. My second challenge to you is to be a support for someone else. This could be through your service in NHS, as a tutor, or through other avenues of community service. Embracing humility in a servant's heart will enable you to lead through your actions. Now to our guest speaker. Can you imagine putting your chemistry knowledge into action? Can you imagine making sure Coke products taste perfect across the globe? Our speaker tonight answered yes to both of these questions. It is a pleasure to introduce Carletta Ooton, the Vice President and Chief Quality, Safety, and Sustainable Operations Officer of the Coca-Cola Company. In addition to Ms. Ooton's important position with Coke, she has worked for Bath & Body Works, Unilever, and Tate & Lyle. She earned dual bachelor's degrees in biological science and chemistry. She earned a master's degree in microbiology from the Southern Illinois University. Students, you are fortunate to have Ms. Ooton as your speaker tonight. Ms. Carletta Ooton.
Good evening. So first and foremost, thank you for the kind invitation to speak at the Milton High School National Honor Society induction ceremony. I'm honored to be here and particularly pleased to get to be with you at this very special evening. I'd like to congratulate each of you and your parents. Your achievements in the area of scholarship, leadership, service, and character are being honored tonight. This is a special time, and it's an opportunity for your community, for your school, and folks around you to recognize your accomplishments. Well done. Demonstrating the 4 characteristics or 4 qualities the National Honor Society have helped you get to this important moment in your life. Some of it could have been by chance. Some of it hopefully was the great example set for you by your parents. And some of it is that special purpose and drive that each of you have inside of you. Just know that the same 4 qualities that have got you here tonight are the same 4 qualities that are going to help you have a successful college career and a successful life after school. The challenge, I think, to stress, though, is to not rest on your successes that have got you to this point, but to really strive and reach toward more lofty goals. I mean it when I say that you can do anything that you set your heart and your minds to. As you heard, I'm very blessed. I have an exciting role with the Coca-Cola Company, and quite honestly, it is one of the best companies in the world to work for. But my story behind that is, it's a pretty simple story, right? I was born in the 60s, probably like a few of your parents, maybe a few of the older ones, in a traditional family, right? My dad worked for the government, my mom stayed home. Neither of them have gone to school. But I will tell you what they did teach me, and they taught my brother, was that nothing was more important than education. And conversations, at least in my household, went something like this, right? It wasn't about, if you go to college, right? It was about when you go to college. And so I'm able to stand up here and tell you that I was the first person in my family to graduate from school, right? And I can do it, you guys can do it. That's the most amazing thing. And that's one of the greatest things about where we live. So think about your journey. Your journey up until this point has been a series of choices, right? And a lot of hard work. It is about purpose, even if maybe you didn't know it the entire way. The way forward is going to continue to be about choices. It's going to be about hard work, and it's going to be about striving for excellence. Don't tread lightly toward your future. Seize opportunities and embrace each day with excitement and a sense of anticipation. I'd like to reflect a bit more about the 4 characteristics, starting with scholarship. To me, scholarship is not really about your grades. I mean, that is an important component, right? But to me, it is really about continuous improvement. It's about a lifelong love of learning. Studying can be tiring, I know that. What you gotta remember when you're studying, it's what's the end game, right? The end game is knowledge. And knowledge is truly special. It is something that is yours, and no one can take that away from you. Embrace difficult subjects as well as life lessons, which are very important too, as learning opportunities. The Coca-Cola system is vast, and learning opportunities abound. One of the many rituals that I have, and my son still to this day thinks is slightly corny, is to stop and pause and reflect. And I ask myself, what did I learn today? And I'll tell you, if I can't find an easy answer of something I've learned, I am not living up to my personal potential. So I would challenge you to start a ritual of your own. Next, on to leadership. So what is leadership? According to Webster, it's the act of leading a group of people or an organization. From my experiences in leadership roles over the past 20 years, I would argue that it is so much more. It is about inspiration, it is about motivation, and it is absolutely about determination. I'd like to share a quote from John C. Maxwell. Leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. I encourage you to seize your future leadership moments, whether they're large or small. Some of my best moments in my career came at some of the most difficult times, in some of the most difficult circumstances. Things like shutting down a plant because we're having quality issues somewhere in the world, sending people home, not knowing when you're going to be able to bring them back, and that's their only source of employment on the entire island. But remember that as you face those moments, and you probably won't realize it till the moment is over, that if you stay true to your principles during that difficult time, you will persevere. Remember your principles because they will serve you well. Remember also that leaders must have vision. Vision is not a concrete thing, but think of it as a guiding light. The vision will guide your purpose, but your principles will help you keep on course. Next, let's talk about service. I have learned over the years that community service, at least for me, is as much about what I learn and how I grow as it is about helping others. Sometimes it's tough to carve out the time to do community service, and I know each and every one of you are very, very busy. Sometimes it's a choice about whether you get a little bit more rest on a Saturday morning or whether you make it to a community service commitment that you've made. I think one of the things that you always have to remember and you have to keep in your heart is that you're making a real difference. One of the things that works for me is to be very purposeful with my choices. I will tell you that I have a very small amount of time that I can give, right? As you guys can imagine, with my role, I travel an extraordinary amount. For any of you that travel, you can appreciate I'm up to 250,000 miles this year, right? But I've got to make the choices that make the most sense, right? Because it's about my job that I've got to do. It's about my kids that I love and adore. My son Dylan's 21, he's a graduate of Milton High School. My daughter Claire's 11, my husband, and a whole bunch of farm animals that we like to hang out with too, right? So you take all that and you say, how do you fit it in? Well, you fit it in because you make a choice. But for me, it's making sure not that I spread my time across slivers of organizations where I can't really be impactful, but it's about picking one or two things that make a difference to me, right, that touch my heartstrings. So what I do is I am on the board of advisors for an organization called Take Aim at Cancer. I'm very, very proud of the work that we're doing. We're working closely with an organization called Longevity. The other thing I do is, again, very, very personal for me, and that's, I think, very important, and it's making sure that I work with the company in providing technology to provide safe water in small communities in Africa. What still amazes me to this day, particularly as the mother of 2 children in the U.S., is that millions of kids die every year because they don't have access to safe water, right? Using my science and my pocketbook, I can make a difference, and so I think that's pretty special. So I'm sure many of you have already identified areas where you have a lot of passion. My challenge to you is to make the time, but to make it meaningful and to help it make you an even better person than you are. And finally, I want to talk about character. It's the last of the 4, but certainly not the least. I want to share a quote from my favorite president, Abraham Lincoln. Character is like a tree, and reputation like its shadow. The shadow is what we think of it. The tree is the real thing. I desire so to conduct the affairs of this administration that if at the end, when I come to lay down the reins of power, and I have lost every other friend on earth, I shall have at least one friend left, and that shall be the friend that lies down inside of me. It is all about what you will do and what choices you will make when nobody is looking. It is about taking the proverbial high road. I have learned over years of managing teams and leading people that your character comes through, and it is most important. People will trust you, even if they don't necessarily like you, because of your character. When they really believe in you, they will galvanize around you in difficult times. So what does it mean? What advice would I share with you? Making the tough choices, it's worth it. It really does matter. It matters for you, and it matters for those around you. Sometimes it would probably be easier to slide through, to take the easy route, to not rock the boat. Ultimately, what I would tell you, while it might be easier, it won't necessarily be as fulfilling. It is really through setting stretch goals and by achieving them, using the right methods, that we can find our purpose and our self-worth. So don't shortchange yourself or shortchange others. In conclusion, I'd like to congratulate you one more time for this honor. You are the best and the brightest. I look at the group today and I think, you are what give me hope, right? You give me hope for the future. So set your goals high, embrace the opportunities, and very importantly, make sure you enjoy the ride. Thank you.
for Principal Cliff Jones and our wonderful guest speaker, Ms. Carletta.
And now, please welcome the new National Honor Society members as their names are called to the stage.
Jennifer Addison. Also, please hold the applause until all the names have been called. Thank you. Benjamin David. Nicholas Behringer. Madeline Bluth. John Raleigh. Ariana Brown. Morgan Childress. Connor Cole. Madison Cook. Mary Kelly Coughlin. Elizabeth Davis. Tara Dean. Christina Din. Maddie Early. Caroline Esposito. Anna Ezra. Caroline Filan. Kristen Posito. Amelia Fennell. Katie Grubb. Allison Hall. Greg Harris. Caitlin Harris. Caitlin Hoover. Allie Hall. Jennifer Horn. Nicholas Hutchinson. And Nicholas Behringer. Oh no, Nicholas Hyman. Sorry.
Claire Jameson. She's not here. Andrew Johnson. Emily Johnson. Bryson Cady. That's not here. Stephanie Leonard. Sana Levine. Rayon Lofty. Elise Lukin. Elliot McElroy. Kevin McGorry. Catherine Miskell. Chris Moneyren. Chandler Moore. Emily Nolan. Juanita Pardo. Tyler Perry. Chris Papura. Kate Richardson. Katie Robinson. Rachel Sevchek. Amy Sheehan. Brianna Sobel. Bradley Stripe. Brighton Chugman. Katie Walsh. Hamilton Wexler. And Alina Zhu.
Congratulations again, and new members, will you please rise and repeat the National Honor Society pledge after us. If you would like to follow along, the pledge can be found at the back of your program. I pledge and a huge thank you to our sponsor, Miss Adkins. Another round of applause for our principal, Cliff Jones. And a round of applause for our guest speaker, Miss Carletta. The current members for joining us this evening in the induction of our new members. And thank you for coming this evening. Please help yourself to refreshments waiting outside for your enjoyment. We hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you again for coming.